One of the most prevalent weeds we have is Purslane. So this is a weed called, in Spanish they call it vertalagus, we call it Purslane, but it's actually edible, and it's quite, if you go to the farmer's market, you're going to pay $4 to $6 a pound for that, which is more than we get for anything we grow on purpose. And so we'll use this. You can use it for raw salads, and you can also use it for like tacos. Or so again, we have a great food source that's technically a weed. We were at our farm in Hawaii, and my husband and I were already vegetarian, mostly vegan, and we did yoga and meditated. And I picked up a book. We were in the process of creating the board game, The Abounding River, and writing the book, The Abounding River, which is the basis for the cafes. And I picked up this book about raw food, and I read it, and I go, God, this just makes so much sense. So I said to Matthew, let's try it. Let's just eat this way for 30 days and see what our experience is. And we both knew about raw food, mostly juicing, but we kind of held it like it was a fallback if we got sick. So if we had a problem or had a health challenge, then maybe juicing or raw food would be a choice. But it wouldn't be a choice as long as we were doing well. And so we just tried it for 30 days, and we loved it. We couldn't believe how we felt. Just had more energy, more clarity, more presence, slept less. It was amazing. It was completely amazing. For me, one of the things I enjoyed the most too was preparing food. Took on a whole nother experience because I'd always prepared food for people, but it was really great to be preparing food that you knew was really good for people. And then when we ate raw food, we said, well, let's just make it a raw food cafe. And everything was designed originally to go in bowls and small plates, so you could put them around the border of the game and play the game, and all the tables had the game on them. I mean, it was a really simple idea. We had 11 employees, and we thought people would come in, play the game. Again, it was more, the focus was on what shows up when you keep your attention on being grateful or being generous or being kind or being loving, what we call qualities of spirit or qualities of the divine, or just those qualities that we all, desire to experience in our life. What shows up when that's your focus of life was the basis. The food was always kind of the secondary to the experience. Now, the foods become kind of neck and neck with the experience, but really we wouldn't be interested in just the restaurant business alone. It's more the people business and the opportunity to transform lives that attracts us to the restaurant business. And the restaurant business is great because people eat every day. And it's great now that we know, after 5.5 years, that people are healing themselves, they're making choices in their lives, they're healing relationships out of both the experience that the cafe provides as well as the food that we serve.
The experience of an employee in your cafe is different from an employee in another cafe.
Well, I would say they're completely different because I came from the restaurant business, and mostly my experience of the cafe business is, you oftentimes attract people who don't really want to work or don't want to work that much because they're attracted to it for the freedom and the flexibility that it offers, or they're attracted to it for the cash. So you get a lot of people who maybe don't want to necessarily want to participate in the taxation, or they're not. It's a unique person, and I think that in most cafes, while there might be a family experience, the family is front of the house, back of the house, so it's separate. You're often told, leave your troubles at home. They just want you to show up, do your job. It's oftentimes about selling the most alcohol so that you can get more tips, or selling more food. I mean, there's not a whole lot of it that's about health. Certainly not a lot about community. Where Cafe Gratitude's all about health, it's all about community. I would say our employees the same type of person might be attracted, although I think we attract an environmentalist. I think we attract kind of what we call your street gypsy, your person that wants to travel part of the year or ski part of the year, or they're in the circus training, or, you know, a very wide variety of amazing young people, but not necessarily what you'd consider your ideal employee if you were an employer in most cases. And we've created a place for them to gather, a place for them to commune, a place for them to support one another. We have a really, really strong community now.
How would you say that you create this community? Is it actual place, or you encourage them to spend time with each other?
Well, I'd say because, one, we clear everyone before they go to work.
And what is this clearing process?
The clearing process is people come to work and they bring whatever they're currently dealing with. They might be a parent sick, they broke up with someone, a bike got stolen, they can't pay rent, whatever their concern might be. And they bring that to work, and then there's a 5 to 10 minute process with every employee every day that says, you know, when your attention's on what's bothering you or what's distracting you from just being here right now, what is your experience? And can you see, you know, it really asks people, can you see that when your attention's on that, that's your experience? And if you shift your attention, you can have a different experience. So there's 2 questions. One's designed to have them get present to what's distracting them. And then how does that feel, moving them really from their head to their heart? And then the key is you don't do anything with it. So mostly in life, you could say, when someone comes to you and shares a problem, a concern, we either agree, disagree, commiserate, fan the flame a little bit, like, wow, that's too bad, you know, thinking maybe I'm glad it's not me, or we try to fix it or change it, give them ideas or suggestions. We try to change the circumstances, in other words. We don't do anything, we just listen. We don't do anything. And what happens when you don't do anything is the issue actually disappears. Because the issue is only in the person's perception. It's not really true in the world. It's a perception of a circumstance. It's not the circumstance itself. So then we ask a second question, which is designed to shift their attention. And it might be, what do you love about your life? What difference do you make in the world? How does love express through you? What do you love about your mother? What do you love about your father? Of course, those are Mother's Day, Father's Day questions. But anything that just shifts your attention to another aspect of life that elicits an experience of fulfillment, love, satisfaction, peace, generosity, gratitude, whatever it might be. And then we acknowledge the person. And acknowledgement for us is not acknowledging somebody based on evidence for something they've done, but acknowledgement is calling forth a quality. Like I could acknowledge you for your commitment to the planet. I don't have to know you to acknowledge you for that. I could just acknowledge you for being a committed person. And what shows up is commitment. When I acknowledge you for that, then you, wow, really? That's what you see in me? And you kind of step into it. And so you could say, we say, that you can create the environment that you live or work in simply by acknowledging or calling forth, affirming in other people those qualities that you'd love to experience, be surrounded by, see, participate in, be with. That's the community that's gathered. So the community that's gathered is a community where each other has learned to acknowledge, bring into existence that which they want to see in themselves and others. And it's an amazing, powerful, tender, generous, kind, loving community.
Do you think Cafe Gratitude would be what it is today without raw foods?
No, I think the food makes a big difference. I don't think that if you just had raw food, it would be what it is today. But I don't think if you just had the environment without the raw food, it would be what it is today. I think it's a great merging. I think raw food is, I think it's in a diet for abundance.